it was all about learnings and key takeaways. So Elyse, you want to start? You want to tell us what your thoughts were from the symposium?
Sure. Well, I know it's not finished yet either. Well, I guess it basically is finished except for 10 at this point. I loved it. I sat through as much as I could. I think I got to watch 8 or 9 of them live, and all the ones that I didn't get to see, I'm going to go back and watch on YouTube. And I learned a lot from what I got to see. And I started thinking, I don't know if anyone brought it up in their sessions that I didn't watch, but watching everyone, I then was remembering how eye movements are another form of language as well. You know, how looking up can be associated with thinking, and then blinking more rapidly can be associated with interest. And like, you know, looking to the left or looking to the right can mean different things, especially based on your dominant hand. So it just, you know, it gets the wheels turning to hear from so many other and knowledgeable and intelligent people.
But I think maybe Reem knows that you're a psychoanalyst, and that's why she doesn't want to show her face. She doesn't want to show eye movements.
You know what? I didn't know that, but it is fascinating. I'm fascinated by that topic, actually, body language and whatnot. So I'm going to open the camera for that, Vikram.
Yes, you must. But also, I think the thing is that you have to, of course, introduce each other to each other. Because of course your session she might not have watched. Reem is going to tell us about it.
No, I haven't. I didn't get to see you, Reem.
Yes, Reem.
Excuse me, I look like I just had a buzz in my face, but I'm not feeling well.
Please, you're fine. Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. And nice to meet you too, Victoria. Hi. So yeah, I am not from the mediation world. I am a language expert. I have a company in language services, providing interpretation, translation, and most importantly, cultural adaptation for other businesses to expand in different markets beyond what they are in, eliminating the language barrier and the cultural barrier. So I was here with Roar talking about the different roles and struggles of an interpreter in a mediation setting, and how mediators can choose and evaluate their interpreters, and how you can play as a team in a mediation setting, because the success of a multilingual, multicultural mediation setting depends on the how well the mediator and the interpreter work together. So yeah, that's me.
Because what's going to happen now, after you people tell me what you picked up from the symposium, I'm going to put keywords into ChatGPT, and I'm going to ask ChatGPT to be a keynote speaker to the symposium, and let's see what comes out of it. We don't know what's going to come out of it.
I love that idea, you know.
So for what all has come up till now, Elyse says about eye movement, the language of eye movements. Yeah. Let's put it all out there. We'll put all the keywords, and then we'll see what comes out of it. So, of course, Alexander, you want to just tell everyone about yourself and then your thoughts?
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you all. So I am Alexandra. I'm a mediator with a mechanical engineering background, so project manager all my life. And even now, but in a specific environment, I work as a humanitarian worker in Poland near the Ukrainian border. I'm finishing soon. So ready for new experiences after the end of March. Very quickly. And a fan of languages. Voilà.
Okay, now please now give me the keywords. Oh,
connection.
Okay.
Music.
Okay. Right now, what's happened is I've told it to give a keynote speech on language and mediation, a general one. Let's see. We'll put the keywords after that. Let's see what's going on. This is so fast.
just don't do that. Perhaps someone used it. You know, I don't want.
Look, I'm hoping that every time is a unique one.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
and a little scary.
Exactly.
Scary, but a bit boring as well, no?
Let's see. We'll check with what Ken says, and then we'll see what Ken.
It's just word for word Ken's speech.
Let's see if something new comes out of it, because this is going to be short. I can ask him to put
Yeah,
a
well,
longer
but
one.
ChatGPT is not the hot buzz right now. Like, wait till we see the Gen 4 or Gen 3, you know, with the Bing search engine. That's really, really disturbing, you know. So
Well, that's
I'm not
interesting.
scared of ChatGPT anymore after I watched how there was this video about the Bing and Microsoft's new search engine integration with the Gen 3, and it was really scary. You know, it asked them, how can you fit 10 backpacks into a trunk of Tesla something? I don't remember like the specifications. And no, it asked it how many backpacks, and it did all these calculations and collected all these data from videos, from screenshots from people taking photos of it, and got the dimensions and everything. So this is scary.
Yeah, interesting things will come out of it. Let's not be worried about it so much. Let's just say, let's learn from it. If something good comes out of it, look, finally those billions of pages we are never going to read. It's not going to happen. So what do I like with Ken also? What do I tell him? I don't read any of the books he writes, because I don't read books. And if he is the essence of all those books, and that's what is the best part about him. So similarly, ChatGPT is, if it becomes the essence of a lot of things and some wisdom comes from it, why not?
You adapt. We adapt to everything new. So
because I mean that's another, okay, let's just look at from the symposium perspective. Any particular thing that stood out for you? Elyse, of course, has seen the maximum of them. Reem has only seen her own session. I don't think she's gone.
I didn't even see that. I actually felt sick after it. So yeah.
So Elyse, you with your larger exposure to these sessions, what was the key thing that came out for you?
I think the key thing that came out is that we all really like each other. It's a great group of people. There were some things that I learned that I actually was screenshotting as I was going along, like Helen Lighthouse, when she had the drawing of the icebergs. That was something that I screenshotted to think like, oh, I'm going to use that someday, or at least ask her if I can use that at some point. But I don't know. I think it's a great group of people, and everyone seems to be similarly minded, and everyone wants to move the field forward in whatever ways possible. I think that's the biggest thing, is moving it forward.
Look, for me, at least the big thing was that the genuine person that you are, that came into this, that was the highlight of it, because you don't we have people who bring their authentic self totally, the genuine people that they are. So that was a good thing, at least from your end. And I kept saying this. I don't know whether you saw the session. And Victoria agrees. I don't know whether she agrees. Yeah. She agrees.
She has raspberry fingers, is what she wants to say.
Wow. Okay, so Alexandra, anything you watched? Did you see any of the sessions?
No, I just looked very shortly. It was always in the middle of the day, so I didn't manage. So I will look after this. So just short, little bit of Andrea, I think, and stuff, but yeah, so I cannot say based on what I've seen. I'm sure, as always, it's super interesting to get different faces of the same topic. So this is what it gives. This kind of session gives you more vocabulary to talk about the same thing. This is what I like, you know, because we don't come up with the same words, the same idea. So I like this. Improving my vocabulary, so I will definitely try to look maybe at all of them.
Reem had Roar with her, so Roar had just sent a message. Let's put it up there. He's not going to be with us right now, but he has sent a nice message. This is what he sent.
Oh.
Okay, so I mean, that's where he's sitting, and definitely when he's sitting there, we don't want him to come here. It's better if we can talk to him about it later. So thank you, Roar. If you're listening, I don't know whether he's listening, but he sent this. So that's something. But otherwise, I mean, of course, one, anything particular? Did you watch any of the sessions? Is there anything that came out for you? Because you sat through two other than yours. So anything that you want to, what you picked up?
Not in the moment, but I'm hearing what Elyse and possibly Rem will speak, and I hear
Okay,
them.
okay. But
Okay.
from the sessions that you attended, there's nothing that was a highlight for you.
Oh yes, I could. I said it before, and I can take two ideas. One from Mary Lou and Ken Frank, who Mary Lou was speaking. She talked about self-awareness, and I shared the idea that if there's no self-awareness of the mediator and self-awareness developed with the parties in a mediation, I think a mediation is just a simple negotiation. I mean, it doesn't go to the root of the conflict, you know. And that's one idea I liked from her. And then from Alexandra Wojtowicz, well, she spoke many things, but I stressed two. I mean, she said interesting things, but I just took two that she's speaking her language, me too. You can find that things can't be translated directly. You have to look at the context, you have to understand the differences, sliding from one language to the other, and that's what happens in a mediation, even people speaking the same language. And the other issue that she stressed and liked was that the importance of silence. Sometimes silence expresses, she said it, lots of things which can be perceived by somebody sensible and obviously with self-awareness. It's a job. No? So that's what and the final thing that Mary Lou said, which was very interesting, that in investigations in the States, nowadays investigation, people prefer this sort of mediation. And Vikram said, we have to look at the other side. And the other side, he expressed what sort of mediations come there, even shuttle diplomacy mediations, I mean, but not really getting to the core of the conflict. You know? So solving conflicts is not solving issues, but solving relations. You know? They bring up issues which are conflicting. Well, that I can synthesize from the, but there were many more things expressed.
So the interesting thing that Andrea O'Neill, she's from Ireland, she brings in for every symposium. So this one, what she brought in was the great dictator's speech, the last speech from the movie by Charlie Chaplin. And then she started looking at it from the mediation perspective. So of course she's marked certain things out, but this was, have a look at the thing and then see whether you feel that some parts, because she's saying, I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. So it's like just to say that I'm not here to give decisions kind of thing. I should like to help everyone if possible. If you want to so read it. I'm not going to go to every word, but just read it and you'll feel that are there things coming out from here which in relation to mediation. You can do that separately, but this was something which it was interesting that came out. But now Elyse is the only one who's seen, besides me, who's watched a lot of sessions. So Elyse, anything else that you want to tell us, and then maybe I'll look at whatever highlights there were.
The only, I mean, she's being kind of loud, so I can't hear a lot, but the only other thought that I had while Juan was speaking is that language is one of the vehicles of connection, of human connection. Probably one of the main ones. Yeah. I'm gonna have to go, I think.
Why? What's wrong?
Because she's got my mouse and my keyboard.
But Elyse, what is the story about the goddess at the back?
About what?
The goddess at the back behind you. The goddess behind you.
Okay, so this is Durga Ma, I think, right?
Yeah.
Please correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember because I've had it for so many years, but it's something to do with strength, I think with female strength. And it sat with me being in the role of single parent and primary provider and everything like that. I feel like I have to embody that strength to keep going.
No, nice. It's nice to see that, because the significance of these things, sometimes people don't have that. It's a picture sometimes there's significance to it. So it's nice to hear stories behind these things.
Yeah.
So Reem, anything else that you want to tell us about your?
I didn't watch. I watched, by the way, a couple. You're saying I watched only mine. I didn't watch mine. But as an outsider from the mediation world, I was recently, actually 4 or 5 months ago, introduced into mediation. never heard of it, never thought like it existed, you know. Despite the moment I realized it made sense. Of course, we need mediation in our day-to-day lives, in our business and everything. The one thing that struck me during the sessions I was listening to is how people are way more comfortable speaking in their own mother tongue. And does this affect the mediation outcome? These are the thoughts that came to me after our session, Vikram. Does it affect the mediation bias, the mediation need to communicate or his agenda if he's not speaking in his mother tongue? Because from a language perspective, you're more inclined to sell, for example, if you are talking to people in their mother tongue. You are more possibly that you're gonna like be yourself, show your character, show your emotion better, even if you're fluent in that second language that you're speaking. So it made me realize that even if, for example, Rose speaks English or everyone here speaks English, but it might not be your first language. Even if you're fluent, does it affect your the quality of mediation that you could pass on to your clients if you were speaking to in your mother tongue or no? And lastly, today is actually Mother Tongue Day.
International Mother Language Day.
Mother Tongue Language Day. So it aligns actually with that for us. And the second insight actually that I had was how, as a mediator, we have a lot of similarities in the challenges that we face as linguists and language experts and mediators. The way you need to step, the things that we talked about, Vikram, the role boundaries, the things like that, the involvement, we have a lot of challenges. And it made me think that actually we need to look at the code of conduct and the roles of an interpreter, specifically in legal, court, and mediation matters, in a different angle than what we have. We have one template for every situation. For healthcare, same as legal, same as business, you need to be this, and that as an interpreter. But it feels like in the mediation, the interpreter need to be much more than just a language and a cultural expert. So yeah, these are my thoughts on.
Because of course, the other part that we were talking about with Reem was about what the person is going through as an interpreter. She sees maybe power imbalances there. She sees a lot of things happening there, and she's not really going to in some way react to it. She has to maintain that, but she's something she's taking back with her, how that affects the person, what mindfulness activities need to be done. So similar thing was being discussed on mediators also, but that was again how you look at mediation. Of course, like Roar was using the word neutral, and of course we've debated the word neutral. So in a neutral situation, you are looking at it differently, but where you feel that yes, there is something more active role that a mediator needs to play, how are you going to react to that? But on the aspect of the language you being comfortable with, what I did was I actually asked Gabriela to give a session in English and in Spanish.
That's the one I saw.
With two different people?
No, I saw the lady I didn't want to do it, and you made me do it in English, and I told you I can't, I need a translator. That's the one I actually watched most of it.
Okay, that's the one he needed you. Okay. But look, Gabriela, I'm telling you, with Alexandra, we were discussing this, that Alexandra is about 5 different people when she speaks 5 different languages.
Wow, I love that.
Similarly, with with Gabriela, when she speaks 7.
Wow.
So when Gabriela was speaking in English and then you listen to her in Spanish, it is a different person. And which is what I was telling her, that to get to know that Gabriela, the Spanish one, I'll have to learn Spanish to get to know her. Otherwise, I can't. That connection, I'm sure it's a different kind. So I think that's where
definitely people are more funny in their I'm not going to say in their native language, because for me, native language is not the language that you're born into, the language that you think with. If you're choosing English, I'm an Arabic speaker, but my native language is Arabic, but I don't think in Arabic anymore. I work day in, day out, every day, every moment of my life with English speakers for at least 15 years now, so I don't even think in Arabic. I'm not comfortable in Arabic. I speak around the house, everything, but me and my husband, like, we slip into English at the moment we get a chance, you know. It's easier for us. I can express myself better. I can express my character better in English than I can do in Arabic. So for me, if you ask me, my native language in this context would be English. So you get to know the real personality. In Arabic, I'm shy. I'm like, how do I say that? How do I say this? You know. So you get to know a person when they're comfortable talking.
Okay, so Juan, one way is that when we talk about which language you think in, Juan's going a level ahead. What language do you dream in? That's
Dreaming. Huh.
Do you dream in Arabic or what? What?
I don't. I'm gonna pay attention to that one and let you know.
Because we actually had a discussion in the last session itself that why is it called mother language, first of all, or mother tongue? Because one is that, of course, I mean, you very nicely categorize a person as say, oh, Vikram is in Delhi, so Hindi is his mother tongue. We very casually do that. Of course, that's the wrong connection to make in any case, because we have a number of languages here, and people live in various parts of this country from various parts. So I think that's the worst stereotype that people make about people, first of all, to start with. And but the other thing is that we were talking about how when you're younger and the language that you hear around you connects you in a certain way, the neural pathways are made in a certain way, and of course your maybe gives you the comfort, you think in it, and like one said, you dream in it. Is that where the connection comes from? I think that's also where you have to maybe get into that as to what language you really connect to, and in those terms. I don't know. I mean, you're the language expert, Raim. You have to throw light on all this.
I'm thinking, okay, so I don't want to take the light away from mediation. We're only focused in language here, but I have a lot to say in that. So one study that we were that really connects with my mindset is a study about how language shapes your IQ, shapes your personality, and shapes your how you come out to the world. So, for example, it's not a stereotype, it's a fact what I'm going to say right now, but Chinese kids are smarter in math than any average kid anywhere in the world. The reason behind that was figured that it is the language part, because the words of the numbers, the vocab of numbers in Chinese is way simpler than in English. So in English, once you cross the 10, it's not, you don't say for 11, 1, 1, you say 11, which is a completely new vocab than 1, 2, 3, 4, the first 10 that they learned. In Chinese, it's not the same. It is actually simpler. It's 1, 1, 1, 2. So kids get, math grows on them easier, and now they become smarter. Same go in math. Like an average kid in math in the same ages the study was made on. Another example is the Australians. I don't know if this is a really right fact, if I have my facts straight or not, but this is what I know from that study, is that Australians are way more better in directions because of how they express directions. North, south, east, and west, not right, not left. So they have like a natural compass in their minds, you know. I met this Australian, he confirmed that, but then other people negated it. So I don't know if it's a fact or no, but every Australian I met, they were really good in terms of directions, because, and it was also referred back to the language part. And there's a lot of examples like that. So language actually shapes your mindset, shapes your IQ, shapes what you're good at. And yeah, so if English is better than, if you're better in one language, not English, any language than the other, you're going to take the traits of that culture more, you know.
So, but you're saying that, look, Arabic, of course, is something that you, of course, connect to because you have heard it when you're young. But today, when you think, you can think in some other language. You are thinking in some other language.
Arabic is different, has a different scenario. We have more than 15 prominent dialects. There's a lot of dialects, but the prominent dialects are at least 15. So the Arabic, the scripture Arabic is the Fusha. This Arabic is really hard. We're not taught that in schools, as frequent as we would like, we don't speak it at home. So I'm Egyptian, I speak Egyptian dialect. But because I'm culturally exposed, I understand the other 15 prominent dialects. But an Egyptian cannot understand a Yemenis in their first encounter, for example, someone from Yemen or from Sudan or from the Gulf. And within the Gulf, there is a number of dialects that don't understand each other. So Arabic is very complex, and I believe that for me, it's because of my exposure into different cultures throughout my life. So I didn't pick one dialect, lived with it, grew with it. We lived in a lot of places. My family used to travel a lot, so it was hard to pick one thing. But the one thing that was consistent was English throughout my growing up. So I think maybe that's why. The complexity of Arabic and the consistency.
So now Ken is here. Now we'll have to answer Ken's questions. Hi, Ken. Okay, one second. You can unmute yourself. Yes, you can, Ken.
I just have to say I really appreciate.
You have to say hi to Ken first before leaving. You have to say
hi, Ken. Nice to meet you. But I realized I have a hard stop.
Reem is actually a language expert. She came in with Roar is in Norway. He brought her in. Just the idea to give a little context in terms of the language expert coming in, the interpreter coming in. And we were trying to discuss the role of the mediator and the interpreter and where are they different, where are they similar. So we had that in her session.
Yes.
And you want to say bye, Reem?
I have to say bye. I have a hard stop. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed. Thank you, Vikram, for inviting me. This has been a nice experience, getting to know the challenges here. And I hope to get to meet everyone again soon.
Perfect.